Before I do start this video, I do want to give all the credit to Dermot Corrigan from The Athletic, who put down this piece that showed a lot of information regarding Barcelona's financial situation. So everything that I am going to be talking about in this video is thanks to him. All the credit does go to this journalist here. And so again, if you do want to read his story about Barcelona and why right now they cannot register 9 total players within their first team, you can go on to The Athletic. I'm going to be reading exactly what he did say, and I'm also going to give some of my inputs in this video. So I hope you guys do enjoy it. So here's the story. It says here that Barcelona can't register 9 of their 25 first team players, and here is going to be the state of play. So The Athletic have reported that last month, Barcelona need to find a way to generate 130 million euros before June 30th, because that is the deadline day. And that is the day for Barcelona to show why they can be financially healthy and why they can sign new players. Because if they don't generate a total of 130 million euros, it would be very difficult for them to add new players to the squad. As of now, if Barcelona wanted to sign a player tomorrow, they would literally need to sell certain players to bring brand new players in. But in order for Barcelona to go to the 1-1 rule, 130 million euros need to be generated before June 30th. Of course, Barcelona are taking action right now, and they're trying to figure out ways to generate this money so they can show to La Liga why they are healthy and why they can sign new players with no problem. For example, Barcelona are looking for new investors to sell Barca Studios because the Libero deal fell through. They were supposed to receive 40 million euros this year, but they never got that, which is why their financial hole continues to deepen. Also, Barcelona are trying to lock down a deal with Nike. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the fact that Barcelona have to make up 130 million euros before June 30th, that does align with Barcelona getting injected 125 million euros from the sign-up bonus that Nike will give for completing a 10-year deal. You can see that the 125 million euros in bonuses would be added straightly to the financial hole of 130 million euros. So already we can see that Barcelona are taking the steps. And the reason why this is so important is because the moment Barcelona do figure out how to get out of this 130 million euro hole, that is how Barcelona are going to be able to register their new players. This video is not going to be about who Barcelona are going to be signing after Barcelona do complete the Nike deal or the Barca Studios deal. This video is going to be about the type of troubles Barcelona have to go through right now to register their current players. This is not going to be about Barcelona signing new players. It is only going to be about the players that they do have right now that are unregistered. So players like Sergio Roberto and Marcos Alonso are going to be out of contract on June 30th. The loan deals of Felix and Cancelo are about to expire. Inigo Martinez and Vitor Roque are also going to be unregistered with La Liga. And then we have La Masia players where Balde, Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí, and Hector Fort are also going to be unregistered by La Liga. La Liga have yet to even formally accept their brand new renewals that we did see a few months ago. And the last player, it is Gavi, a player that was unregistered back in January 2024, which also allowed for Vitor Roque to come in. And what gets even more complicated about this situation is Barcelona could have had way more space today within their salary budget, but the players that have automatically been registered for the next season has been Ansu Fati, Eric Garcia, Serginho Dest, and Lenglet, because they all came back from loans. And so Barcelona have to find a way to get these players out because Barcelona do not want to have anything to do with these players. So a lot of steps do have to be taken. And this summer is going to be extremely long. You have to figure out how to find new destinations for Ansu, Eric Garcia, Dest, Lenglet, and then after that, you open up the wage bill and then you register the players that you have to register, like Hector Fort, Lamine Yamal, Cubarsí, and hopefully, right, we all pray that the Nike deal gets concluded as fast as possible so we can make sure that the players that we actually do want can get more reassurance with their future at the club. So let's go deeper on some of these players, starting with Sergio Roberto. Sergio Roberto is currently the club captain. He did lower his salary last summer and he played a total of 24 games, but because he was injured for so many times, he rarely did have a huge impact. He scored 3 goals and provided 3 assists. Now with Xavi Hernandez leaving and a new coach coming in like Hansi Flick, Sergio Roberto's importance at the club has massively decreased, and most likely Barcelona are not going to want this player. Moving on towards Marcos Alonso. Not even under Xavi Hernandez was Alonso a very important player, let alone with Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick is going to be like, okay, yeah, like this player is great. I seen him play at Chelsea. I seen him play a couple of minutes at Barcelona, which was a total of 389 minutes throughout the whole course of the season. But Marcos Alonso is definitely not going to be a player that Barcelona do want. And I think that Alonso does know that. For sure, Alonso did play his last game with Barcelona last season. As for Vitor Roque does have continuity under Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick does want to work with him, but it's going to be taking some time for us to register the player. Vitor Roque was not supposed to come in until the summer of 2024, not in January 2024. And because Vitor Roque came in early and Gavi left the wage bill because of his long-term injury, Vitor Roque came in and he got paid. He got paid by Barcelona, and in the last 6 months, Barcelona have been paying him, and his wages were taken into account for this season. Inigo Martinez was signed on a 2-year deal, but on Barcelona's accounts, they only really signed him for 1 year and made sure that he can only be registered for 1 year. They couldn't afford registering him for 2 total years, meaning that in this summer, Inigo Martinez is not going to be registered. Now, we don't know if Hansi Flick does want Inigo Martinez. We're going to need an answer as soon as possible so we can work on Inigo Martinez's continuity as fast as possible. Then comes Joao Felix and Joao Cancelo, 2 players who came on loan. Barcelona are only going to want to continue with these 2 players if they can get the exact same deal they got last summer with Felix and Cancelo. So Barcelona do have a lot of negotiations to do with Atletico Madrid and Man City, 2 clubs who do not even want these 2 players. If Atletico Madrid do say, we want you guys to pay for the player, and Man City also say that Barcelona have to pay for the player, Barcelona will not continue with these 2 players. I don't know if Hansi Flick does want Felix or Cancelo, but the only thing that we do know is that Joan Laporta and Deco do want Felix and Cancelo. Deco is a huge admirer of Felix and wants him to continue at Barcelona. Keep in mind that Joan Laporta has a great relationship with Jorge Mendes. Jorge Mendes is the agent of the Joao brothers, and so maybe Jorge Mendes can help Barcelona and Joan Laporta to get the exact same loan deal they got last summer of 2023. Moving on towards Eric Garcia, a player that has already been automatically included to the wage bill of Barcelona and registered completely. I don't think there is any future between Eric Garcia and Barcelona. I strongly believe that Hansi Flick is going to want center backs that are fast, athletic, strong, and tall. Someone like Araujo and Kubarsi can give you that. Even Christensen is going to be moved to the center back position for sure, because Hansi Flick has been demanding for quite a few holding midfielders like Joshua Kimmich and Miguel. So I do see Barcelona letting go of Eric Garcia for either another loan move or a complete sell. With Ansu Fati, I feel like the exact same thing is going to go on. We're going to go for Nico Williams. Most likely Barcelona are going to be able to get Joao Felix how they want him. And with Ansu not really showing much with Brighton, I don't think that Barcelona want to bet on Ansu. Maybe yes, Hansi Flick is a huge fan of Ansu Fati, but overall, if the opportunity is there to really bet on Felix and Nico Williams, and also maybe even give in Fermin Lopez a chance to play on the left wing, the necessity for Ansu Fati's services is not that big. And we also know that Ansu Fati is very determined to succeed at the club, and he said it before. We're going to have to wait and see how he does perform during the preseason, but Barcelona are going to have to move fast and make a decision. As for Serginho Dest, we actually knew that he was going to be leaving this summer. We knew that because PSV loved Dest. Dest had an amazing season with PSV. Dest joined Barcelona for 21 million euros in the summer of 2020. We thought that he was going to be the next Dani Alves. But as time went by, we started to notice that while yes, Dest is an amazing attacker, defensively, he was a liability. Fast forward 3 years later, and there is just no way Dest will overcome someone like Jules Koundé. And then you add in players like Hector Ford, who has also shown a lot of defensive responsibility. I do think that Dest deserves to be at PSV. He found his level. He scored amazing goals. He provided amazing assists, but the only problem is he went through an ACL injury, and we do not know if PSV are going to be okay with that. Moving on towards Lenglet, and this one should be very easy. Lenglet is not needed. I think that Eric Garcia has a bigger chance than Lenglet, and I know that Barcelona do not want to have anything to do with this player. He left on May 2022. The man was not even trusted by Xavi Hernandez, and since he moved back on May 2022, he moved to Tottenham, then went to Aston Villa. These were 2 teams that have shown that they don't really want Lenglet, and now at the age of 29 years old, there's 2 more years left in his contract. Lenglet has one of the most expensive contracts, by the way. He was earning 16 million euros or more per season with Barcelona, and even on loan moves, when he was going to Tottenham and Aston Villa, they had to share the salary bill and split it 50-50 with Barcelona, and still Barcelona were struggling to pay the 16 million euros or 8 million euros for Lenglet. So Lenglet has to be out of here. Gavi will also need to be registered because we gave Gavi his senior contract on September 2022 with a 1 billion euro release clause. A couple of days later, it was reported that La Liga told Barcelona that there is no room to register his first professional contract, and Barcelona had to take the case to the Spanish courts. A few months later, we eventually saw Gavi get registered for the 2023-2024 season, and he wore the number 6 shirt after wearing the number 30 shirt a few months back. And to end it all here, when it comes to Balde, Lamine Yamal, Pau Kubarsi, and Hector Ford, 4 players that have massively grown under the guidance of Xavi Hernandez, most of their problems are very simple. They all got given a professional contract by Barcelona. That's going to tie most of these players past 2027 or 2028, but at the moment, Barcelona cannot financially afford to register these 4 professional contracts for the next season. And I believe that it is safe to say that these 4 players will continue at the club. There is no need to say, oh yeah, it does not matter because they're going to be sold in the summer. Let's just forget about the renewals. No, their renewals do mean a lot and we do want to keep them. They all have great futures at the club, especially after what we have seen in the past 9 months with Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí, and Hector Fort. And so like I've said, there's a lot to do with many of these players that Barcelona already do have. I mean, technically we really don't because they're unregistered, but you know what I mean. These squad players have to be dealt with as fast as possible, and then we can go on and sign new players. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.